24th of December, Christmas Eve. Collett was standing on his own in the yard when his driver and fireman came up. "Right, Collett, time to wake up. We've got a job to do." "Right, what are we doing today?" asked Collett. We're just being asked to shunt some wagons." That's good. I didn't want to do anything too difficult before Christmas," agreed Collett. As he started away, some coaches were being shunted in a siding not far. Collett had to stop at the main line to get clearance. Then disaster struck. The shunter wasn't looking where he was going, and the coaches crashed straight into Collett's tender. Luckily, no one was hurt, but Collett's tender was beyond use and needed to be repaired. "Great," groaned Collett. "Now what will I use for a tender?" "Well, we do have an old one from an old city-class engine. I'm not sure if it'll fit you, but we can easily try." They soon managed to get the tender into place, and then Collett was allowed to leave. As he left, he passed Peterson, who was observing the new park. "Doesn't it look fabulous?" he said. "All these improvements before Christmas. They must be planning something big." "Yeah, well, I've got to go and get my train now," said Collett. "See you later." "Yeah, I'll see you later," said Peterson. Later that day, Collett was returning from his train light engine through the countryside when suddenly his driver noticed something alarming. "Great Scott! The water gauge is going down. What's going on?" They stopped Collett and the driver went to have a look. I see the problem. There's a hole in the bottom of the tank. I guess that's why they don't often use it anymore." "Does that mean we have to stay here for the rest of the night? It's Christmas Eve. It's the middle of winter. It's going to be freezing cold." "Sorry, Collett, we got no choice. We can only bring you back to that old station we saw a little further down the line." "All right, at least there will be some comfort there," he agreed. It wasn't long after they got there that they realized the worst. "Blast! It's an unmanned halt." The fireman piped up. "I did see a pub a little further down the line, about a mile. I'll walk there and see if I can phone the yard." "That's a good idea," said the driver. About half an hour later, the fireman returned. I've got to tell you the bad news, haven't I? The leaking water from our tender's frozen outside the yard and it's caused an accident, so they won't be able to come and get us. Luckily, the pub does have an open space for us, so we can easily stay there," he said to the driver. "Right, we'll do that then," said the driver. "What, and leave me here?" "Sorry, Collett, we've got no choice. We're not machines. We'll freeze to death if we stay out here." Collett was almost certain that would happen to him as well. It was cold, very cold, far too cold for Collett's likeness. But in the middle of the night, he heard a noise. Suddenly, he saw a bush rustle nearby. "What's that?" he thought. A figure popped out from behind the bush and lay something on the track. Even though it was very dark, Collett could see he was wearing a red outfit. "Is that... It can't be... Father Christmas?" Collett whispered to himself. He looked closely at the thing that had been left by the side of the track. "It's a lamp. I don't really need a lamp. Something's going on here." What he didn't know was that he'd need the lamp later. Early in the morning, just as the sun came up, his driver popped over to see if he was still okay. "You right, boy? I heard there's a fog coming along, so we'll have to find something to light you up so they'll find you." "Driver, there's a lamp over there. Some person left it there overnight." "Really? Well, I'll fit it." After his driver had fitted the lamp, Collett told him all about what had happened. "I wouldn't say too much about that being Father Christmas. Sounds like the fogman visited overnight." Collett wasn't so sure. Later that morning, the rescue train passed by the station. We found them, guys. They're here." "Where have you been? We've been searching all day." "Well, we were here the whole time, in this station." "Blasted fog. We must have passed by you at least 3 times. Anyway, we'd better get back to the shed." When Collett got back to the shed, he was heartily welcomed by every single engine. They had all missed him very much. He was also glad to hear that his tender had been repaired, and the one he was carrying now was going to be scrapped. The manager had called it a useless piece of junk, and he had forgotten that it was already leaking. The workman set about repairing him, but he wasn't going to be in service for quite a while. "Look at this! Icicles in your smoke box, a frozen lake in your tender. Really, and your fuel injector's broken as well." Collett usually didn't like it when the workmen were complaining about him, but this time at least he wouldn't have to be away on Christmas.